2019 was one hell of a year for movies. You had Endgame, The Lion King, Star Wars, Frozen 2, Toy Story 4, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, Aladdin, and even some things that weren't from Disney. We had surprise smashes like Detective Pikachu, colossal failures like Men in Black International, and Joaquin Phoenix blew us all away in the now highest grossing R-rated film of all time, Joker. But as with any year, it is practically impossible to see every single great film that might appeal to your tastes. Alas, between your 45 minutes work a day as a YouTuber and your 8-hour crying session, there just isn't enough time to catch them all. Fantastic films frequently get lost in the shuffle no matter how well reviewed they are, yet you absolutely need to make sure these 10 movies are on your cinematic radar. These films, all released either in cinemas or on VOD platforms over the last 12 months, represent some of the finest indie and mid-budget cinema that probably passed you by in 2019. From stunningly ambitious genre films to appealingly low-key slice-of-life dramas and everything in between, these are some of the year's best unsung movies that demand your attention. I'm Will for What Culture, and here are 10 awesome 2019 movies you probably missed. 10. Dragged Across Concrete. Dragged Across Concrete is not for the faint of heart or stomach, but it is an uncommonly unsentimental and uncompromising thriller. Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn are marvelous as two corrupt cops who, after being suspended for their violent conduct, enter the criminal underworld in the pursuit of a payday to secure their futures. Dragged Across Concrete is an unapologetic slice of art house exploitation, a meticulous 159-minute slow burn filled with semi-Shakespearean dialogue and occasional bursts of nauseating violence. Its refusal to conform to fashionable politics and its steadfast commitment to presenting two unlikable protagonists ensures it won't be for everyone, but it ultimately lands on the right side of ugly and is simply too compellingly acted to be ignored. 9. High Life. Embraced by most critics yet largely ignored by audiences, this erotic sci-fi horror film from French auteur Claire Denis stars Robert Pattinson as one of several criminals traveling through space, and during the course of the voyage, he and his fellow felons are experimented on by the curious Dr. Dibbs. To say more about High Life's plot would ruin the lurid surprises Denis has in store, but needless to say, you've never seen a sci-fi movie like this. If you thought Ad Astra was a bit weird, this movie is on a whole other level, but more than merely a kinky, self-consciously odd spin on the genre, it is also a shockingly well-made film for its mere $8 million budget. 8. Booksmart. Booksmart is certainly the most mainstream movie on this list, but going by its underwhelming $24.8 million worldwide box office haul, you most likely haven't seen it yet. Though it was understandably dubbed the female Superbad, Olivia Wilde's shockingly impressive directorial debut is so much more than that. A hilarious and touching tale of friendship that doubles as a fascinatingly modern coming-of-age comedy. Though it didn't set the box office alight, Booksmart will likely endure as a cult classic with generations of young women in particular for the foreseeable future. And rightly so. 7. The Art of Self-Defense. If you took one look at the marketing for The Art of Self-Defense, you'd assume it was a goofy comedy about Jesse Eisenberg learning karate. Spoiler alert, it isn't that movie at all. This is a devastatingly truthful satire of toxic masculinity and the forces which drive men to seek it out. With shades of Fight Club, Eisenberg's protagonist Casey joins a local karate dojo in order to learn basic self-defense following an assault, and falls in underneath his aggressively hyper-masculine sensei who has some very specific designs on Casey. Without spoiling anything, the film is full of deliriously dark surprises, and that Stearns can keep the film on an even keel despite some extremely sharp tonal shifts is to his major credit. 6. The Perfection. Much like The Art of Self-Defense, The Perfection is not what you think it is by first appearances. A deliciously entertaining, genre-bending psychological horror, the film begins with cello prodigy Lizzie becoming acquainted with Charlotte, a former cellist who had to quit her prestigious position at the same school due to a personal tragedy. From that synopsis, you might think you know where The Perfection is going, but veteran director Richard Shepard ensures to continually subvert expectations, hopping from one genre to the next and thereby ensuring a wild, unpredictable ride from first minute to last. Browning and Williams are terrific in the central roles. Shepard's freewheeling direction is equal parts fun and disturbing, and the script tackles hot button issues with fiery panache. Don't read anything about it, just go and watch it. 5. The Peanut Butter Falcon. Between Honey Boy and the Peanut Butter Falcon, Shia LaBeouf has had a cracking 2019, with the latter not only being a great movie, but one of the better crafted feel-good movies of the last few years. A coming-of-age road movie following a troubled drifter who befriends a young man with Down syndrome, this is a just sweet enough romp that benefits from the outstanding chemistry between its two stars. A study of two diametrically opposed yet equally likable characters, it's a rare film that depicts those afflicted with Down syndrome without patronizing them, and there's not a moment in the film that doesn't feel resolutely authentic. 4. Wild Rose. You might think that Wild Rose is simply yet another underdog musical drama about a rough-hewn young woman trying to make it in the unforgiving music industry, but Tom Harper's film benefits from both its unique setting, alternately Scotland and the US, and a killer, BAFTA-nominated central performance from rising star Jessie Buckley. Though the spine of the story might play the familiar hits, Buckley's protagonist Rose Lynn is quite unlike the characters these stories typically invite. She's a brash ex-con, she's self-destructive, and she's constantly pitting her dreams to make it big in America against the tattered remnants of her family life, namely 2 young children she needs to care for. Refreshing in its frankness about dreams and the means of attaining them, Wild Rose dispenses with simplistic, crowd-pleasing truisms in favor of something more honest and emotionally resonant. Jessie Buckley is definitely going places. 3. Monos. Alejandro Landes' Colombian thriller Monos is one of 2019's most atmospheric and unforgettable cinematic experiences, a war drama focused on a group of young soldiers watching over a captive doctor in an unspecified Latin American country. First and foremost, Monos is one of the best looking films of the year, and in a just world it would receive a Best Cinematography Oscar nomination, with Jasper Wolf's eye-melting lensing perfectly evoking an eerie sense of isolation. Part Apocalypse Now, part Predator, and part Lord of the Flies, this is a rare war film that feels truly unique, underlined by a fantastic cast of young actors and exceptional direction from Alejandro Landes. If you're craving a genre film with a real soul and unique sense of identity, look no further. 2. The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Of the many issues facing America today, one of the less discussed is gentrification, and how redeveloping neighborhoods for the fancies of affluent white people can so often be at the expense of already impoverished black communities. The Last Black Man in San Francisco is a riveting indictment of the city's property crisis, seen through the eyes of a native black man who attempts to reclaim his now prohibitively expensive childhood home. It is a wonderful, entertaining, and intensely thought-provoking film. Sadly though, the people who really need to see this movie probably never will. 1. The Nightingale. Jennifer Kent's follow-up to The Babadook is one of the most uncompromising films of 2019, a challenging and deeply disturbing period thriller in which a young Irish convict attempts to seek revenge on the British soldier who brutalized her family. A word of warning, if you're particularly sensitive to depictions of rape or murder, this might not be the film for you, but if you're prepared to follow Kent's full-throttle vision, The Nightingale is a hypnotic, utterly transfixing odyssey. The film is soaked in dread, but gorgeous in every single frame. Nightingale is an unforgettable experience, but make sure you've got something happy to watch afterwards. And there you have it folks, 10 awesome 2019 movies you probably missed. Leave a comment down below with your own favourite sleeper smash that you feel deserves way more attention. In the modern age of cinematic bombardment, there's always going to be a few hidden gems that slip by that deserve their time in the sun. You can also leave this video a like if you enjoyed it, and swing on by whatculture.com for daily news, lists, articles, quizzes, and all that other funky internet stuff. Also, slap the subscribe button and tickle that notification bell if you want to support the channel for free. It really does help us out. I've been Will for What Culture, catch me on Twitter at @uslydogU, and I'll see you next time.
Hello YouTube, we're turning things up to 11 with the launch of What Culture Music.
It's our brand new channel featuring all those lists you just can't get enough of, including creepy hidden messages in your favourite pop songs,
as well as radio-friendly songs that detail literal murder. That's as well as Chatty Faces, where we get personal with you on our sordid musical tastes, in-depth discussion podcasts, and we're even doing quality fun stuff like tournaments and quizzes too.
There's going to be something for everybody, so come on over and make some sweet music with us.
Or just watch the videos, that works too.
Like, share and subscribe at the link below, and we will see you there.
Bye.